And here we are on ESV Cloud Kingdom, and at the top of the map we have our player who is currently up 2-0 in this series from the team Zenex, our only Zerg player in the entire tournament fighting for survival. It is Zenex Life. And down at the bottom left part of the map in the blue from the team Quantic, the mystery Terran himself, it is Quantic Apocalypse.
Yes, it is. Fancy camera pans and views.
Ooh. Well,
sorry. Okay, I'm done. Been noticing the people that have been doing some great observing. I have to give a shout out to, of course, Heaven and Legend in Korea, but Adabisi, who was at MLG as well. Yeah, very great job. Yeah, was very happy watching his matches that he did. So shout out to him. Adabisi's a great guy. I've cast with him several times, and Apocalypse sending out a very early SCV here, so may have a little bit of proxy action. But yeah, no, I've casted with Adabisi quite a few times. He's a pleasure to cast with, a great guy, and I'm glad to see that he's being picked up for those events.
Yeah, it's cool to see some of the casters moving up like that, definitely.
Yeah.
What is this SCV going to do, though? I've got a feeling, he's going to get spotted by a drone. That's what's going to happen. But
yeah.
Will Zenex Life really discern anything from this? You know, some players do legitimately scout this early. It's rare, but it does happen. And yeah, it's just going to put an engineering bay down at the expansion right away. He's not even going to try to block that drone or anything.
Yeah, so let's see here, though. He's not going to be able to get in and see an a barracks or anything like that. And how is Zenex Life going to react to this? He did decide to put up a 15 pool, so yeah, he's going to pool first, of course. He doesn't even know, or he does already know. Okay, he's got a drone down now trying to attack this SCV that's building a structure, but of course the engineering bay accumulates hit points so quick, it's already up to 730.
Yeah, they have quite a bit of hit points. We used to see this all the time. In fact, QXC actually was a player that used to do this type of thing all the time against Zerg. It does slow down the hatchery. It does take a while to kill that engineering bay, but over time people kind of moved away from it. They didn't really see it as a big enough benefit to warrant doing that. So it looks like it's going to actually command center first from Apocalypse, and against the Zerg who you've just forced to go spawning pool first, that's a bit of a surprising decision, I gotta say. That may come back to haunt him here. We'll see if it does. There's the barracks going down now. He may just be fine, but that feels a little bit risky to me. I haven't seen it done enough to really be able to say empirically if it is or not, but it feels a little bit awkward.
Well, he's got to come back and wall here pretty soon, otherwise he doesn't stand a chance, as the first few lings are coming out now. Looks like they're going to go after the engineering bay first, which is now finally starting to go down a little bit quicker. And taking a look back at his side of things, Apocalypse does have the wall coming up. His second command center is about 2/3 of the way done.
Yep, very true. There's the canceled engineering bay, and the hatchery goes down for Zenex Life. He's going to go out and get some map control with these Zerglings now. Starting Zergling speed, he will have that very quickly as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's not going to be able to get in and do any really early damage, but I think that, I feel like Apocalypse has put himself in another position where his natural expansion is going to be yet again slowed down / denied by these early ling attacks that Zenex Life has been so fond of doing.
Well, he is going to move into that factory, it appears, pretty quickly once again. Bunker up at the front as we have our first couple of Marines just popping up now. And it looks like that's enough to force Life away. Yep. He doesn't want to stand in against that. The SCVs would repair those supply depots up way too quickly.
Yeah, and with seeing that bunker, too, that's going to kind of eliminate probably any possibility of him doing a Baneling bust or something like that. But you know, again, I feel like Zenex Life is just going to have a fairly easy time using those larger ling attacks that he's been doing to deny the natural, because it's going to be fairly quick tech again from Quantic Apocalypse.
Yes, it is, as he's going to slap down a reactor. So the wall is complete once again. The factory is being built right next to it. We do have 2 Marines inside of the bunker, and we'll see what Life wants to follow this up with. He does have 2 drones back on gas. He actually pulled completely off of gas, then decided, well, no, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 back to make up for that lost time, as now he's going to be built up to that 100 gas for layer pretty quickly.
Well, you know, if he scouted that factory and the reactor on there pretty early, he may want to just go for another quick layer and Mutalisks too, because he knows there's going to be less Marines initially, and he might be able to get in there and do some early damage. So that is a possibility as well, I guess.
And there's that layer, so saved up for it very quickly. He is on 29 drones, so another round or 2 of drones with injects, and then we may see quad gas coming up after that.
Yeah, quite possible. And let's see. Oh, a tech lab going down right away on the factory. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, he's going to kind of, you know, if Life saw that, he may have been faked into thinking there were going to be some reactor Hellions, but I think it's just going to be straight up Marine tank here from Quantic Apocalypse right away.
Looks like it. He's going to get upgrades going. excuse me, for his bio units as well. He already has siege mode on the way, and not a lot of attack units up for the next life. And he did indeed decide to put up another 2 rounds of drones. He's going to be on 43 here in just a second, and his quad gassing. So once that layer tech finishes up soon, we may see a Spire right after that.
Yeah, I think we probably will. And I do like what Apocalypse is doing, though. He's getting double upgrades again, and he's just going into something very safe. You know, he's just going to try to live. And here's the point. This point right here is the part of the game that Apocalypse has been kind of struggling in the first couple of games. Here's where his Next Life has been coming in, doing some damage at the natural. This time we don't see him going for quite as many lings early on, so I don't know if he's going to go for that this time around. The very quick siege mode for his Next Life is going to, or for Apocalypse rather, is going to help him stay safe against this as well. So I think Apocalypse is actually going to be able to get his natural up and running without any real interference this game.
Not too big of a hitch on his part, indeed. So take a look at the workers. 49 to 35 in advantage of life at the moment. He has been droning up quite well through this. Of course, you know, as you said before, though, not producing a ton of lings quite yet. So so much more of his resources being allocated to drones for now. So he has a good Mutalisk count up when the time comes. In fact, he's going to be at about, well, another 7 or 8 by the time it pops up, just like he was in the last game.
Yep, it's about right. Little force moving out for Quantic Apocalypse. Going to maybe try to harass that third base here.
And he does indeed see it and decides to back away for now.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little bit small to be moving out with right now, as the Next Life could own that pretty easily here. Yeah, he's already got enough lings. Well, it's close. Probably enough lings. You might want to add on a few more, but he is saving up for those Mutalisks. He's going to be able to make 6 or 7 right away. Yep, there's 7 and the +1 flyer attack. So yeah, as the Next Life going into a very similar strategy to what we saw last game. Now, here's the thing, is Apocalypse didn't really take any early damage in this game. So his economy is looking a little bit better than it has both Game 1 and Game 2. If the Next Life plays the same very sloppy Mutaling style that we saw last game, that could come back to haunt him. He's going to need to be much more careful with how he engages with his Mutalisks this game.
Very much so, and he can't keep adding those on for a little while now. He's going to be at 8 in total when these do pop up. The first 6 are already headed down around the bottom right-hand portion of the map. Let's see if we get no missile turrets coming up quite yet. There are a bunch of Marines, though, but they're all, starting to move out across the map.
All right. And that third base coming out very, very quickly here, too. No turrets up again for Quantic Apocalypse, so he is going to take a little bit of damage from this at least.
Yeah, let's see here. If he can get the tank, it'd be a nice little gain for him, but loses a couple of Marines. Yeah, no real harm done on both sides, but
I like this.
There is a missile turret coming up, but those units are pulled pretty far out of position, so a few more workers are going to go down here in just a second. 4 killed in total this game for life.
Yeah, he's able to kind of swing around and get a little bit done with those Mutalisks. Not a whole lot. Apocalypse holding off that little push by the Mute as well, but you know, he didn't get to take his third quite as quick as he wanted to. So Next Life is doing a good job of containing him, more or less, at least at this point.
And let's see, as this reactor was taking a little damage, but that's a full stim out of Quantic Apocalypse. He has no medevacs on the field. Yes, he has 2 that are coming up now, but still, damage is going to be felt for quite a while. And
some
no
of those
combat
shields
shields.
Twice too, yeah.
Yeah, no combat shield, unfortunately, as well, so just on 45 hit points.
You know, if Life can come in and harass the reactor on that starport and maybe even kill it, that would be a nice little bonus here. The Marines would be, you know, taking a lot more damage early on, as it is the first 2 medevacs come out. So
yeah,
it's not going to happen quite as much. He's got a pretty decent mute account going with more on the way, but he just needs to deny that third. You know, he just kind of needs to sit there, and then if Quantic Apocalypse does decide to just move out with a push, just needs to be ready for it. That's kind of the 2 big concerns right now for the Next Life.
Well, he's doing a great job at doing just that, up to 131 supply again. As we can see, the Muta numbers still continuing to go up. He's going to be on 19 here in just a second. He's going to an infestation pit. He's putting up a macro hatch and a 4th base at the top left-hand corner of the map. So
denying that gas was really nice for Life, too. Just because that's, you know, what Apocalypse needs for upgrades. He needs it for siege tanks and medevacs. Oh, he gets a couple mutas there.
Oh,
that was a pretty nice trade. I would trade a refinery to kill like 3 or 4 mutas.
Yeah, that ended up working out pretty well at the end there. But
take the less gas for a little bit.
So this is actually moving over to Bio Thor now for Quantic Apocalypse, as he is starting to add in Marauders constantly. He's got the Thor coming up, as I mentioned before, +1 vehicle attacks coming as well. Just sitting on those 4 tanks for now. Taking a look back at Life side of things, he finished the infestation pit, immediately went up to layer tech, and now just starting his pathogen glands again. So again, wants to make sure he gets some infestors out there before waiting for that pathogen gland upgrade.
This is good by Life to keep denying that refinery. Like I mentioned, you know, if you're only on 2 bases, you really need all 4 gas to be able to continue what you want to do in the mid game. He is trying to take his 3rd now, but, you know, how long will that really last? Life has been able to harass that pretty easily. And this is a type of map, too, where you can kind of bounce between all 3 bases very quickly with those mutas. Just kind of like on Telderim Ultra, it can be very difficult to keep up with that.
Yeah, Glaveworm bouncing between the SEVs right now, taking out a couple extra ones, and some of those mutas get very low, but none of them falling quite yet.
Yep. So, Hive is almost finished here.
Yep.
Where's the next Life? We'll have to see if he goes for that Greater Spire right away, or if he decides to just kind of work on making sure his upgrades are up to date first.
Now, Apocalypse does have 151 supply. Oh, but he's going to lose some tanks on the high ground. One's gone down.
Whoa!
Oh, the Thor. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
That's a lot of damage. And they're flying over the Marines. It's so close.
He's got to be careful about how he gets out of here.
And did he... You know, he has taken a huge amount of damage. I mean, the Thor may register no kills. That's a ton of damage on those mutas. He's not lost any quite yet, though.
Oh, some Marines trying to run as fast as mutas. And, oh, what is Life doing?
Oh, loses 4 mutas.
Oh, man, he needs to be so much more careful with those mutalisks, especially now that they're at low health. This may actually be a decent little time for Apocalypse to push here. I've got a feeling he's going to wait for 3-3, but knowing that all those mutalisks are so damaged has got to be tempting here.
Well, let's see, and when it's not like Life was clearing up supply for Corruptors right away because he did decide to reinforce on Zerglings. Oh, yeah, I assume that's coming after the next attack, but... Let's see, for now is Marauder trying to get away there, and it looks like he will indeed. No! Oh, I thought he was going to be saved. Sad Marauder.
Marine Thor. This is interesting. This is kind of even a little bit reminiscent of what Marine King was doing at MLG this last weekend. And will he be able to micro as well as Marine King, though? That's the question. That's a lot of Banelings.
Yeah, it is. Banelings are starting to roll through. The Thors not being targeted by the Banelings. Very diligent control there by Zenek's Life. Unfortunately, the units that he had right there weren't enough to kill everything from Apocalypse, but those very expensive Thors went down, and that's what was really critical. But he didn't expend those Banelings on him. Great control from Zenek's Life.
Well, it was plenty to scare Apocalypse away anyway, and that's really all Life needed to do at this point. He just needs to kind of delay until he has that good, very good late game tier 3 army. He's got Corruptors on the way now. He's starting to save a little bit more gas. He's not spending it immediately on Mutalisks at this point. He wants to have some for the Broodlords when they do start to come out.
Yeah, let's see here now as the Corruptors are just popping. Greater Spire is done. We have +2 Carapace, +3 attacks on the way. Now double-pronged attack is the Mutalisks were actually leading a bunch of units away. Now whole position micro to kill a ton of the SEVs over at the 3rd. It looks like Apocalypse is finally going to chase Life away. And once again, Life is reproducing on Zerglings and not morphing any of those Corruptors into Broodlords.
You can see he scanned just there, too, to make sure there weren't any burrowed Banelings. But I don't believe Life has researched that quite yet here. I'm surprised he's not waiting for the Broodlords before going in here. He just wants to really, really make sure that there's as little mining as possible going on at that 3rd base. Oh, and if he gets some fungals here.
Wow.
Oh, that's big.
That's a huge amount of fungals.
Man.
Oh, there it is.
GG.
Instant GG.